Laudetur Jesus Christus. This is Brother Andre Marie, the host of Reconquest on the Crusade channel of the Veritas Radio Network, radio the way it should be. I'm here to tell you about the next episode of Reconquest, which is episode number 41, which we're calling Mary in the Hebrew Scriptures. My guest is Sister Maria Philomena, the director of the St. Augustine Institute of Wisdom, and Sister and I are talking about Marian types in the Old Testament. In other words, types of the Blessed Virgin Mary that we find in the Old Testament, as we had found types of Christ in the previous episode. This is the promised sequel to our last week's episode on Old Testament typology, which we called Looking at Old Testament Types. Here, we're talking about very concrete, specific types of Our Lady. In the beginning, Sister and I sort of rattled off a list of Marian types we find in the Old Testament. Very amusingly, she came up with a much longer list than I was able to come up with. We have Eve, we have Miriam, the sister of Moses, we have Hannah, Sara, Judith, Esther, the strong woman of Proverbs 31. We have wisdom, which is spoken of, personified all throughout the wisdom literature of the Old Testament. We have this figure of the daughter of Sion who recurs throughout the Old Testament, not one person, but a sort of ideal person. We also have the bride of the Canticle of Canticles, or the Song of Songs, as it's called in some translations of the Bible. And then we focus especially on two types of the Blessed Virgin in the Old Testament: Eve, whom many of the fathers of the Church compared to the Blessed Virgin as a type, both by way of comparison and contrast. And then the Ark of the Covenant, which is a thing prefigurative of the Blessed Virgin Mary in a multitude of ways. And that's the one that Sister and I actually spend the most time discussing. So please join us on the next Reconquest. You can go to reconquest.net to find out directions on how to listen to the show, and from there you go to the Veritas Radio Network site and give it a listen. And please consider supporting the Veritas Radio Network so that this effort and the other efforts of other hosts on the Veritas Radio Network can continue. And please consider joining my Veritas Radio Network friend, the founder and president of Veritas Radio Network, Mr. Mike Church. Please consider joining him and some other VRN hosts at the St. Benedict Center Conference, which is going to take place on the last day of September and the first day of October of this year. If you're thinking of going, please go, and please either call or sign up through the website at Catholicism.org. Thank you very much. God bless you, and Mary keep you.